Hey, brothers, you're listening to Home Bar Happy Hour. We're talking about Thunderdome, flamethrowers, and goddamn it, we're talking about some hot meat. Let's roll, America.
Hell yeah, Mike. We are talking about all of those things and the
brother.
hot meat. How are you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing good, man. As you can see, I'm starting to peel up here.
Yeah,
I got
see
really
that.
roasted over the weekend.
Got a little toasty. What did you get into this weekend?
Took the boat out, bro. Took the boat out. Yeah, we
Sailing
had
the
a good
seven
time out on the
seas.
boat, man. Yeah, well, we kept it to the river, so yeah, it was a pretty good time. It was a really good time, actually. I had a great weekend. It was fantastic. Yeah, we just we wrapped it off with a few other boats out on the river on an island and caught up on a sandbar. Dude, did you? So I never knew this, but minnows. If you're standing in the water and stuff like that, minnows like to eat your feet, the dead skin off your feet.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, it was funky, man. It was weird. And like I looked down, there was 50 minnows eating my feet. And I'm like, it didn't hurt. It was uncomfortable. It was weird. Come to find out that, high society, the rich people, the people with the white gloves,
Right.
they will pay big money for when they get their pedicures to dump minnows in with their feet, and it's just automatic. They just feast on their feet.
I'll let the minnows come and get all the dead skin off. That makes sense.
Yeah, all that dead skin comes right off your feet. And man, I'm not gonna lie, my feet feel fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, you don't need to pay pedicurists all this money. You just need to go down to the river and stick your feet in. That's it's the redneck type of pedicure, right?
Better, yeah, dude. Just hook up with me. Hook up with Chef Gus, dude. I'll take you out in the river, bro. We'll get those petties done.
Yeah, get them little tootsies eaten up. That's gross.
Yeah,
though.
man.
I don't want fish running around my feet.
It is pretty nasty. It is gross.
Yeah, that's gnarly, dude.
Especially
I'm not into that.
You look down, especially when you look down and it's just like, ugh, it gives me the willies, man.
Yeah, I'm not about that life.
I know.
No, sir.
But so, how was your weekend? What did you guys do?
My weekend was good. I was down in, I don't know if you were down in Maryland, but I was down in Maryland. I went to Susquehanna State Park, did a pretty decent size hike with one of my buddies. I think we did 7-8 miles, something like that. Stopped by a nice little bar afterwards, had a drink, had some food, and headed back home. And then I on Sunday, kind of like my recovery day, I did a Mad Max movie marathon. Watched all 4 that are available. Getting ready to go see Furiosa in theaters probably sometime this week. Have you seen these flicks, Mike? The old Mad Max movies?
I have not. Now that you bring it up, I was looking at it the other day, and I was like, you know what? I should probably start watching these because I know sooner or later Joe's going to be asking me, because I have saw the last one that came out, Fury Road, and I loved it. Yeah. And I have pre-ordered Furiosa for digital.
Okay.
So I'm ready for that one, when that hits digital. So yeah. So I gotta watch that because dude, Thunderdome, so many references from that movie.
Well, I think all of the Mad Max movies have top tier titles, like the naming conventions. You have the first is just Mad Max, which is fine. But then you have the Road Warrior. What a cool name. And then the last one with Mel Gibson was called Beyond Thunderdome. Not even Thunderdome. They go beyond the Thunderdome. And that one is probably the weakest of all the flicks, even with Tina Turner, but it's still not a bad movie. I would definitely give Road Warrior a watch. The second one, that was kind of the first one that was real big in America. So they're Australian flicks.
Yeah.
Here's a fun piece of trivia for you, Mike. So the first Mad Max movie was made in 1979, I believe. George Miller directed it with a then unknown Mel Gibson, and they made the movie for about $300,000, like absolute shoestring budget. That movie went on to make over $100 million, right? It was the highest profitable film for years until the Blair Witch Project, because the Blair Witch Project was made for like a couple of pennies and then they did it. But this movie was like so cheap to make and gross so much. The first Mad Max is kind of the origin story, and then the second one gets into the Road Warrior. Thunderdome is just kind of another one of his adventures, and then the one you've seen, Fury Road.
Yeah, because wasn't it like Mad Max? You just get a bunch of people dressed up in rags and throw a couple fake machine guns on it or something like that, and some demolition cars just drive around the desert.
It kind of, right? Like, especially Road Warrior, man. There's like hardly any dialogue in that flick, but the action sequences are insane, and it's all practical effects too. Like, I think it was, yeah, in Road Warrior, there's a scene one of the stunt dudes was supposed to jump over a car, ended up the car hit him. He shattered his leg during that move. Kept that scene in the film. There's one scene where a car is supposed to like flip over and catch on fire. They told the driver of that car, are you ready for this, Mike? They told the stunt driver not to eat anything within 12 hours of filming, in the likely scenario that he would need to go into surgery after this stunt. Dude, there were just no rules when they were making films in Australia in the 70s and 80s. Dude, well, just Australia too. Like, they don't make many flicks over there, and they're just filming out in the desert. There's no unions, they're just doing unions. There are, dude. That's a huge thing. You could never get away with that today with all the actors unions and SAG and everything. But yeah, man, like it was a different world of filmmaking, and it, you can tell, right, when you watch these movies, like, it is just all out, balls to the wall. I will say that Fury Road, the newest one minus Furiosa that's in theaters, is without a doubt the best one. That movie.
Tom Hardy. I love Tom Hardy in it. Nick Holt. How do you say her name?
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Who else was in it?
Man, lots of people were in it. I can't remember. There was one dude who's like a mildly famous actor, but he's like covered in white stage makeup the whole time. But Riley Keough, she's an actress. It's been in a few things. She was in it.
Isn't that Jason Statham's wife?
It could be. That sounds.
The blonde.
That sounds
right.
You're
talking about the blonde?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Jason Statham's wife. She played in Transformers 3 as Shia LaBeouf's girlfriend.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And Zoe Kravitz is the other one I was thinking of that's in it.
Zoe Kravitz. Yeah, she's like an up-and-coming actress.
She's there, man. I feel like she's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I like her. I like her a good bit.
But Zendaya is like, I don't know what she's doing, but she's like taking the fuck off.
Yeah, Zendaya's everywhere. That Dune mother, man. Dune and Euphoria.
Her new movie coming out is a little risque.
Which one? The Challengers?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently that's about her just
taking
it down with two tennis players. Yep.
Yeah. One's falling in love and one just wants lust.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, he had lust in his eyes.
Well, you got Zendaya there, so you're fighting over it.
Speaking about badass females, dude.
Yeah.
Mrs. Kelce, whoa, man, she got up in that. Man, she would have fucking smacked the shit out of that one. Like, dude, like, what the hell is wrong? This is why, like, like Jason was smart by just walking away. And he was like, I'm just gonna take, you know what I mean? Because he'll let his wife, take care of that.
Give me a brief recap of this, Mike, because I'm not super familiar with what happened.
From what I understand is that a fan tried coming up like an obsessed fan. Like there's a fan, like they were, Jason and Kylie, they were on a date, and like some crazy obsessed fan was like, I want an autograph, you got to give it to me and stuff like that, and she was just being harassing at that point. And then Kylie just had a fuck enough of it. She just went the fuck off, and it got in her face and shit. And Jason like stood probably about like, I don't know, 8 feet away as like one of their body, I don't know if they have security or whatever.
I would
One of their,
imagine they
one
would,
of their
yeah.
one of their confidants, or one of their tried was like separating it and stuff like that. But yeah, like Kylie just went the fuck off. It just was in this bitch's face, man. She would have gotten massacred because she ain't no one to trifle with.
No, she's a Philly girl, and she's got that Philly dog in her. She'll get
She
at him.
definitely had that dog, but I liked how, they were civil and they kept, not verbally civil. Like, I would have done the same thing. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. What is wrong with you? And it's just like, society's just like going down everybody just thinks that they're entitled and owed everything. Like, what was it? The fan was like, I pay you to do this and stuff like that, or I believe, or something. I could be wrong, but like they were like demanding that they sign autographs for them.
Yeah,
demanding.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not like a, they're just out, right? Like, Jason and Kylie are out trying to win. Right. If it's like
just a simple handshake would have been fine.
Yeah, or just say like, hey, like your stuff, if you want to ask for an autograph, go ahead. But if they say no, like, then let them go. Like that's it, right? That's got to be the end of it. Like,
yeah, I would never ask somebody for an autograph in public. I would just treat them like a human being, shake their hand. Like I don't know if I brought it up in a show before, but how I ran into LaShawn McCoy multiple times, and like,
yeah,
I never asked anything from him. Like the one time, like I was out on a date and we were leaving the hibachi place up here, and he was walking in and I was walking out, and I was like, wait a minute, I recognize that guy. And I poked around the corner to see if he was still there, and he was talking to the owner and stuff like that of the hibachi place, and like he was just finishing up, and I just like reached out and I was like, hey, LaShawn, hey, dude, good luck this season, bro. And I just shook his hand and just left. It was like real quick, boom, done.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give him because he was still, our running back. I just wanted to give him, you know what I mean, like that. Hey, not suffocate the guy, but just say, hey, man, good luck this weekend.
Yeah, say hi, show your respect. That's all you need to do.
The
The
other time was downtown Harrisburg, and this was his rookie year, I believe. And they were closing down the bar, and it was just like him and I were at the bar. Like he was up in the VIP section, but then he came down, and then him and I were just like drinking, tequila on the rocks. And I gave him his space, and we were just shooting the shit and stuff like that. We weren't even. We talked a little bit about football, like very minor. Other than that, like I asked him how his parents were doing because his dad worked with my dad at UPS. And it was just like, how are things? How you doing? You know what I mean? Are you enjoying yourself? And and stuff like that. Shooting shit, talking about girls and stuff. And yeah, and then after it was only like 10, 15 minutes, and they were closing it down. I was just like, all right, man, I'm out.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
But yeah, man, I just feel like people just need to get a hold of yourselves, man. Like,
yeah, act civilized. We live in a society.
How they act is like how I acted like when I was like a teenager.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's a weird like world with like the world of celebrities so different now too. Like everyone has I feel like people feel more connected to celebrities because there's such a culture of podcasting and Instagram and stuff, but just because you like follow someone and you feel like you know them, you actually don't, right? Like that's a curated, portion of their life. And it gets even trickier, right? When you're paying like some people or whatever will have like specific Patreons or YouTube memberships to like their content, so then people feel like, well, I'm paying directly to it, I should have a say over things, and that's just kind of not how it is, right? Like I'm all for supporting artists and stuff, especially in this weird era where everything kind of has to be free in order to gain popularity. But yeah, just like if there's a celebrity you like, just be normal. Just be be a normal person.
I don't think that could be possible because you got like people like on, with X and social media and stuff. It's even worse now than the tabloids back in like the 90s and early 2000s in general. Like people are just like, now they just feel like personally connected. Like if something big comes around and they're like, oh my God, I gotta get on, like something, drastic happens. Like, say for instance, more recently, COVID.
Sure.
I have my own opinions about it. Doesn't make it that it was fake. But COVID, was a serious world pandemic, and for a lot of people with preconditions and stuff. So it's like, and at the beginning, nobody knew what the fuck it was.
Right.
Nobody
It was definitely
was
a weird world at the beginning.
Yeah. And like people were just like going on there like, oh my God, I need to know what Drake said, or I need to know what fucking I'm trying to think of somebody famous. I need to know what yeah, we're going with Drake. I need to know what Drake says. I'm like, yo, do you think I'm going to go on the fucking like Twitter to find out what Drake says or anybody like in a famous thing? They're like, yo, man, get Drake on the phone. Get that motherfucker on the phone, man. I need to know what his thought process is for this. I can't fucking hold on. Where's Drake? Where's Drake? Like, bro. Like, you think I give a fuck about anybody who's like, I mean, like, I care about them as a human being, but do you think I give a shit about what their comments are coming out? No, I don't. I care about the truth, like, actual truth and facts and stuff like that. So I'm definitely not going to go to fuck to, they're not a scientist. They're not a scientist. They're not a rock
Drake
man.
is not a scientist.
I am not, yeah. Al Pacino or fucking Tom Hardy, Leo, I'm just throwing names out in the fucking bucket. LeBron, you know what I mean? Like all these big names that everybody knows. Tom Brady. Like, do you think I give a fuck about what their personal, like their opinions are in a big time emergency manner? Like, no. I'm going to want to know from the professionals, people who are like scientists.
Right.
Military leaders, rocket scientists, shit like that. The fucking planet gets invaded by aliens. Do you think I give a fuck what, do you think I give a shit about what LeBron says about the aliens? I gotta find out what LeBron says, or you get the gist.
Yeah.
I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, if the aliens
Like,
ever invade, the only person you need to
he,
listen to is Bill Paxton. He's the only one.
Absolutely.
He's the only one with a plan.
Actually, to tell you the truth, the only people, if you're going to go into social media and stuff like that to find out opinions, you should come to us because we won't have opinions. We'll just drink and we'll talk and we'll discuss things live at the end of the world. And that asteroid's coming down. I don't plan on being sober, I'll tell you that right now.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment of the end of the world.
Well, maybe not the end of the world, but like a 9/11 type of event.
Sure. You mentioned that Dave Chapelle had a great bit about it was like right after 9/11. I think it was one of the talk shows had Ja Rule on. Yeah.
Yep.
Dave Chappelle's like, who's out here? Like, oh man, I got to know what Ja Rule says about this.
Yep. Where's Ja?
Yeah, I can't think of any.
Ja?
Can't think of anyone who has a less important opinion than Ja Rule.
Yeah, that's just why. I mean, and he's right, dude. I love Dave Chapelle. I pretty much align with mostly everything he says. I disagree with a few things, but he's his own. That's what that's what the freedoms we have. Like I don't care. I don't get offended by him, especially when he talks about white people. Oh, dude, I fucking find it hilarious when he talks about white people. Dude, when he does the impersonation, like when him and his buddy are going down the fucking road, he's like, Dave, relax, close those butt cheeks, relax. Let me do the talking. I'm sorry, officer. I didn't know I couldn't do that. What the fuck? You didn't know that you couldn't do that. He said that was good, wasn't it? Because I did know I couldn't do that.
Yeah, he's an interesting cat, and he's a good comedian. He's I'm glad he took that little break and came back
Yeah,
just
because
as raw and vicious.
Yep. I feel like he's more. Don't get me wrong. I loved him when he was younger in his early 2000s doing the stand-ups, and but you could tell like the maturity level there. Like he's actually, but he's still. I think he's like real. Like he's a real funny. Like back then, like he was just insane. You know what I mean? Like just off the wall, young, insane, funny. Now he's like real. Like I don't know. Does that make sense?
So what I have some theories on Dave Chapelle. My biggest one is, so, he quit the Chappelle show, leaving millions of dollars on the table. Yeah. And he's talked about this. Kind of the reason he left is partially because I think the Chappelle show was just getting too big and the audience wasn't what it started out, right? So Dave Chapelle, when he started doing stand-up, it was very much like the Def Jam comic era, Martin Lawrence and the Wayans. And that was comedy for Black people, right? Like that there was not like a white audience that was going to these Def comedy jams. And that's where Dave grew up and kind of cut his teeth and became like a comedian. So then he starts the Chappelle show, and the Chappelle show was just a ton of racial humor. And he made fun of white people, he made fun of Asians, but he made fun of Black people a lot. And just kind of making fun of himself and his culture, where he grew up and the type of people he associated himself with. And that stuff I think was really funny and really enjoyable for him when he was doing it in a Def Jam setting. And when it was all Black people sitting around, like, making jokes about themselves and their culture. And I think once it started to hit this white audience, and once the audience kind of shifted from like majority Black to majority white, I think Dave was like, I need to take a step back from that. Maybe I'm not doing for the culture what I want it to do. Maybe it's not people laughing with us. Maybe it's laughing at us and what I like about him. So he left for a long time and then came back, like a decade later. And his humor didn't change, but the subject matter of his jokes did. And it stopped being just racial stuff, just kind of making fun of white people or Black people, and turned into like everyone. So he'll make fun of Republicans, he'll make fun of Democrats, he'll make fun of trans people, he'll make fun of gay people. He'll just like go in with like the same type of jokes he was, but now they're super broad. And I feel like he keeps getting attacked, and people are mad at him. And my theory on Dave now is, when someone's like, you can't say that joke, you can't say those trans jokes, that's a disenfranchised group. I think Dave is going, hey, you guys had no problem when I was making fun of Black people for 5 years on HBO and Comedy Central or whatever. But now that I bring this group into it, you're saying it's not okay. Well, fuck that. I'm going to make fun of whoever I want to make fun of. I'm going to make jokes about everything. I'm not just going to be the comedian that only makes fun of Black people. I'm going to, bring this type of comedy, the comedy you guys love, to every single group. And that's equality, right? Like, agree. You don't have to agree with it, but I mean, I think you don't have to agree with my viewpoint on it, but that's what I think, where I think Dave's mindset is that he's going to make fun of everyone. He's going to make jokes about everyone, and he's not going to be censored about it. He's just going to go on with it. And I like that he has those type of scruples, even as an entertainer, where he's like, I'm not going to change what I'm doing to appease, the bigger audience or Netflix or whoever.
And now him leaving, backtrack all the way to what you said, like when he like, is that like a theory that you had is why he left, or is that an actual fact is why he left?
No, he's talked about it. So he was doing
because I only say that because like through him and I believe it was TMZ, like he literally gave an interview on why he left, and it did come down to Hollywood. Like he just didn't want to get tied up into all that and be a part of that culture.
Yeah.
And because he was starting to pick up, and he was like, you know what, I just want to. It's too chaotic for, like, I don't want to say he said that it was too chaotic. I don't want to put words in his mouth what he said, but like I felt that's how he felt. Like, I don't want to be a part of this system, and I'm just going to leave for a while. And he took his family to Africa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be a cultural, like, you know what I mean? To learn about the culture and stuff, and to grow his son up in, and then they moved back, and
they live in like rural Ohio now.
I know, it's hilarious when he talked about that. What did he call Ohio? It was like the land of the poor white people.
Yeah, pretty much. But he tells a story about him quitting the Chapelle show. There's like a lost sketch that I think it did like get finally like kind of edited, cut, and released somewhere. But he was doing a sketch where he played like a black leprechaun. And Dave like tells the story, like he's filming this skit where he's playing a black leprechaun, and there was a white is either a camera guy or a lighting guy, boom mic guy, someone who was like laughing uncontrollably throughout the skit, like throughout Dave's like impersonation of this black leprechaun. It was like a leprechaun that's like, real hood, real gangster.
Yeah.
And Dave was just like, it didn't feel right with me. Like it didn't sit right with me. And Dave got like really mad and started like yelling at the, lighting guy or whatever. And Dave even says in the interview, he's like, I probably shouldn't have yelled at that guy. Like I'm making a comedy show and he's laughing at it. Like I get it. But he's like, at the time, it just felt really wrong with me. And that was like the catalyst of him.
He was catching himself. He was catching himself that he was turning into, the pop culture arrogant, like he was just, he was transforming, or he was like changing into something that he didn't want to be.
Yeah. I don't think he wanted to be like I think he felt like he was like turning into like the jester for the white people. It was like, oh, bring out the funny black guy. He'll make fun of everyone and we'll come out. And then when he comes back, he's like, I'm not going to be, your funny token black guy anymore. Like, I'm not going to be one of you. I'm going to make jokes about the things, where you come up from. And, if I was big enough to take it back in the day, then you need to be big enough.
Oh, he was ruthless. He was ruthless. And like, I don't get where this is all where that all came from, because I felt like he was pretty ruthless against white people in his stand-ups. So
he was for sure.
I watched a few episodes of the Dave Chapelle show, but I'm huge into stand-ups. Yeah. So like his stand-ups back then, I was dying, and I never like took it like, you know what I mean. I never took it like one side or the other. You know what I mean? Like that's how I watch things, and I don't agree with what something, but I find it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, bless him, like, for coming back, dude. He's like an inspiration for comedic performances. I watched the Kevin Hart tribute where he was awarded, what is it, the comedic award, the highest prestigious award.
He got the Mark Twain award.
Yeah,
it's like an award for writing. Yeah.
Yeah, and like when he came out there, I like that. That was really good. And especially because it aligns with what he was saying in his stand-ups with his son. I want to go to Kevin Hart's show. And I'm like, what the fuck? And his son's like, just slapping his knees, laughing so hard. He's like, motherfucker, I do the same thing. And then when he's like, it's like $85 a ticket. $85 a ticket? What the fuck? Hey, I don't charge that fucking much. But it's pretty good. I like Dave, and he's a good dude. And yeah, back to what we were saying.
Yeah, we got to stop getting off. Last week was like, we talked for like Nick Cage. We talked about Nick Cage for like 15 minutes. Now we just went on a 15-minute rant with Dave Chapelle. It's all good.
Man, we get into a topic, man, we'll just take the fuck off.
We start running down these rabbit holes.
I know. Hey, did you know so summer's here, and did you know that, so I got a few catering gigs coming up, and it got me wondering, like, with barbecue, dude, I got this new gas grill, and I miss the gas grill. So I have like 2 charcoal smokers. I have a charcoal grill, I have a Blackstone, and people are like, "Oh, I don't know why you need a gas grill." I'm like, "Yo, man, you have no idea what it's like not to have a gas grill." I'm like, "Dude, if I want a steak or a burger, like, I don't want to take 45 minutes for that charcoal to light up."
Right.
And
Yeah.
plus, like, I enjoy gas grill. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, dude, like, I'm like marinating like a shit ton of chicken. I did like beef skewers on Friday night.
Yeah. Hell
Dude,
yeah.
awesome. And so tonight I'm doing like top round steaks. I'm doing Johnsonville bacon cheddar sausages.
Mm.
Dude, Johnsonville, their fresh sausage in the sausage aisle in the open air, fantastic.
I'll,
Like they do
I'll,
like a bunch of mixed ones.
I'll go on
What's
record
that?
as saying, I'll go on record for saying Johnson has the best wieners. The best
Yes.
wieners come from Johnson.
I like it. I like a good Burke's. I like Burke's. Burke's hot dogs. I like
Yeah.
Burke's hot dogs.
I like the Hebrew National, but I support Israel. So,
Yeah, we were talking about the Hebrew dogs in another episode.
Yeah, like them all beef
But,
boys.
Yeah, but dude, I got like 4 pork shoulders. I got a deep 6 hotel tray of mac and cheese. What else do I got? I got some huli chicken. I got like 130 pieces of huli chicken that I got to make. So it's a Hawaiian menu. So I'm doing like a pineapple type of pulled pork.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm doing I'm doing probably about half a gallon of spinach artichoke dip and a pumpernickel round loaf, and or like more like a rye loaf or a marble, probably more like a marble round loaf.
Pumpernickel feels like a fall type of bread, right?
Yeah, with baguettes.
Pumpkin in the name. With baguettes.
Yeah, with baguettes. Yeah, I'm gonna toast them all. So I'm gonna toss them all in garlic butter. Toss everything. Toast it off a little bit in the oven. I don't want to get it too dry, because if they get too dry, then they're just like really. It's like you're eating a fucking piece of glass.
Right.
And tear apart the root of your mouth. So that's like a party of 70 right there. But what do you think of some favorites on the grill? Dude, I just love steak. I love steak on the grill, and then maybe like fresh burgers.
Yeah, that's usually my go-to. I'm not a professional grill master, professional pit master. I have just a normal gas grill. I don't have the patience to, go through a whole charcoal boy. Like I know it tastes better. I get it. I do not have the time or the patience. But yeah, I'm cooking burgers. I'm cooking steak. I like to, go down to the local grocer and get a couple Delmonicos and throw them on. I'll salt them and wrap them up in some butcher paper, leave them in the fridge overnight, and then they're like perfect the next day.
If I'm like just grilling dogs, hot dogs, or dog sausages and burgers, and I have a charcoal grill and I'm doing it for the group of 10, 15 people, like that'd be worth me firing, tossing up the grill, the charcoal grill, like especially for camping and stuff. Like if you're up in like a campground or something like that. But outside of that, I got to be cooking for a large group of people. But when I start getting like steaks and different stuff like that, I'm just firing up the gas grill. Yeah. It's just so much more. I don't know. I just got to get in that in between. It's got to be like a special way, because if I'm just cooking for myself, I prefer a gas grill.
Yeah. Well, sure. I mean, no need to go all crazy when it's just you,
Yeah. Well, dude, especially like I'm like meal prep. Like I meal prep on the grill. And everyone's like, "Oh, you're going to eat all that food?" Well, no, not today, but I'm going to eat it over the next 3-4 days.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I cook off like a big pack of chicken, shit, I forgot a big. That's what I wanted. I wanted like chicken breast, because I wanted to marinate them in like a garlic parm marinade.
Yeah, chicken's definitely better on the grill. That's the way to do it. I do most of my chicken in the air fryer because I'm lazy. But if I ever have the wherewithal to thaw a chicken breast or whatever, I'll do that bad boy on the grill, and it tastes a lot better. That open flame right under.
I know our one buddy, Matty B.
Yeah.
He told me he likes his steaks unseasoned and thrown on a hot rock. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you fucking? What is this, like the 1800s in the Midwest?
Yeah, he's just trying to give himself a heart attack. That's all he wants.
Yeah, my God. Well, he does eat a lot of organs, like, gizzards and fucking liver and tongue and shit like that. I'm like, ugh, ugh.
Yeah.
Me being a chef, I'll never eat a fucking organ. You're out of your goddamn mind. You think I'm eating some animal's organ?
I'm not about that life. No.
I'd have to be starving and the end of the world's here and I have to be starving and trying to, just cook everything within that animal that you kill. You know what I mean? Is that, you know what I mean? I'm making you're using the bones, you're using, you know what I mean? Like the skin for the fur for a fucking coat.
Yeah, just leave the organs alone. We're not in apocalypse now. It's not Mad Max yet. There's no real Thunderdome. Just there's enough meat out there. You can go to McDonald's and get a double cheeseburger for like $1 or something.
Speaking about bad times, dude. So, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't really get a chance to indulge in or put forth a lot of remembrance in the Memorial Day holiday, but this week is D-Day week, and it's the 80th anniversary of the invasion of Normandy of Eastern or Western Europe against the scumbag.
The Axis powers.
I cannot come up with the actual name to describe the Nazis. Like, they are just, I absolutely hate them. Dude, you put out a movie about some John Wick going out there and killing like a brigade of Nazis, I'm watching it. I don't care how dumb it is. It doesn't even have to be a no plot. I'm going to watch it because I hate the Nazis so much. I hate the Nazis and I hate the communists. The Soviets, the communists, I hate it all. So, but today, D-Day, Remembrance, and we want to talk about, the greatest generation that walked the face of this earth, the baddest motherfuckers, man. Joe, could you imagine being in Airborne, like Band of Brothers, but I mean, without these guys just ripping butts, just got a cigarette in their fucking mouth, ready to fucking, that light turns green, there's fucking, anti-aircraft ordnance going off all around, the fucking plane shaking, and I'm just, me personally, I'm going to go out, I'm going to, that's how I always said it was you just have a cigarette in my mouth, see you boys at the bottom, whoo, just jump out the fucking plane, dude, and I guarantee there's somebody like me who did that. We're talking about, just an endless. Can you imagine being a fucking German in a pillbox, and then you wake up and the sunrise happens, and all of a sudden you see the entire fucking coastline is all naval ships, and those guys had the guts, the nerve, the gall to sit
cojones.
There. The cojones to fucking just shoot. You were getting fucked up.
Yeah.
And on top of it, you were giving them no chance. And I think that's why I feel like Normandy was how Germany lost the war, because you sent them and they just sat there and they just fired on all these soldiers. There was no way they were going to be, pulled. There was no way you're going to deflect them.
Right.
There was endless amounts of soldiers coming in. And there was that gave soldiers purpose. Soldiers who were there in Normandy, that gave them purpose. Because when you start going through that type of shit, when you see your best friends fucking die on the field of battle, you sent them into a different mind frame. Those boys were going in, they were gonna fuck you up. You better fucking kill them, because they go and they get up, they're gonna fuck you up, man. And that's what they did. They were they bravest fucking souls ever.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. It was definitely a tough war, and it was a war that we had to be in, especially after Pearl Harbor. We had to come in and just kick some ass and get out of there. And yeah, you're right. D-Day, Normandy, taking the beach in Normandy, and then being able to push through that way. It was definitely a turning point.
Pearl Harbor was the Pacific equivalent. I mean, totally two different scenarios. like Pearl Harbor got us into World War II.
Yeah.
But that rejuvenated and set our Western forces, our Pacific forces, in a different mind frame, as did the invasion of Normandy. So
right.
they were both sides were put into like two different experiences, and that's what like you sent that into another realm. Plus, we're a bunch of better Americans, a bunch of cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
We are like that, dude. The as much as people just hate that, like that alpha mentality, that masculinity, like that's what wins wars. Who do you think is gonna win the next war, bro? Like
the biggest dog.
the biggest dog, dude. But dude, like flamethrowers in the pillboxes is probably like, dude. Did you see the images of those pillboxes that are still charred to this day?
Oh yeah, they tore them up.
Why did this get on fire? Dude, bro, that's a fucking flamethrower, homie. I bet, like, dude, the flamethrowers. You were carrying a flamethrower. Oof, you were basically like a kamikaze.
Yeah.
But if you actually did survive a land invasion with a flamethrower on your back, you can fuck shit up, man.
Yeah.
I always said it was like I always thought to myself it was like, yo, if flamethrowers ever were to come back in the military and I was in, I would want to carry one. But motherfucker, I want somebody next to me to be like, yo, if this fucker blows up, somebody better fucking shoot me and the people that are around me, because I'm not. I just want a couple seconds of fucking pain. Don't let me burn alive.
Yeah, burning alive's got to be one of the worst ways to go. I'd rather drown, I think, than be burned alive.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about that. It's like, I don't know if I'd rather be burned alive or drowned.
I think drowning would be a little less worse if you were like really thirsty right before. If you were just like absolutely parched, and then you're like, oh, this is good. Wait, too much.
Well, I mean, would that be equivalent to being like out in space? Like if the oxygen was taken from you? Say you're an astronaut and all of a sudden, like, could you imagine just being an astronaut, just being cast away into fucking space, in a dead of space?
Yeah, space is a vacuum and it's really cold.
With oxygen, you're in your astronaut suit and you still have oxygen, but a limited supply. And when that like, so you're like in the middle, you're that's it. You have to. It's like free falling.
Yeah, if you like ran out of oxygen or you were getting ready to run out, there is like kind of a cheat code. Just open up that helmet and you're gone pretty quick because it's a vacuum and it like would like suffocate everything really quickly.
I think I would just want like something a lot easier. Like I'm sure NASA has something like this for astronauts, where like you would hit like an emergency button and like a sleep aid.
Like a cyanide pill or something.
Yeah, like something to put you to sleep, and then you just sleep, and then you just never wake. You know what I mean? Like you would never wake up.
Yeah, there's probably something like that. I don't know for sure.
I got one that's called that. It's called alcohol, and that's what I plan on fucking doing when the end of the fucking world happens.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to live through a fucking meteor coming to this fucking world. Fuck that, man. I'm drinking myself to fucking sleep, and then hey, I'll see you on the other side, Ray.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what's wild, right? So like if a meteor was coming to the earth, you remember the film Armageddon where
yes,
Ben Affleck is like an oil driller, and
yes,
you would think, right? Like if you're this never made any sense to me. So you're an astronaut, you've been through however many years of astronaut camp, and you have to have a doctorate degree and all that stuff. Why couldn't they just teach those guys how to use a drill instead of teaching oil drillers to be astronauts? It's got to be way easier to teach an astronaut how to use a drill than it is to teach a driller how to be an astronaut.
I don't know about that. I feel like it's like I feel like it was all about instinct, but I do agree with you. I mean, in today's age, I'm sure that they have a solid drill team, but it kind of goes back to where you remember in the beginning when they had that argument with it was the generals and the NASA scientists, and the general was like, I hope you know that the chief scientific advisor said that a nuclear blast would deter, and Quincy, the smartest man on the planet, said, he's like, I went to MIT with the president's chief scientific advisors, and you really don't take advice from somebody with a C- in astrophysics, where he had it, you know. So
Right.
that's where I felt like that's where it came, because there was like an imbalance. So like, even though the government would, you know, hey, why don't we just send up our own team? Well, these guys don't have fucking, you know, drilling. There's drilling instruction, and then there's drilling gut instinct, the instinct. You know, it's the same. It aligns with probably why they don't want drones to, you know, to take over, because that human instinct, that experience, that all the stuff that you've been through, is that, like, you know what I mean, like a pilot or a soldier or something like that, that like that instinct, that knowledge, and you're trying to like that knowledge is something that you can't train. That experience is something that you can't train. Like, you can train all you want, like us being soldiers, you know what I mean? Like, they can train you all the fucking time you want, but when you go to, you know, boots down in Afghanistan, it's like you just do your job the best that you can based on what experience, in my case, experience from Iraq, or you know, training.
The training builds the experience.
Because when the shit hits the fan, you know, that's all they had to do was just get on the rock, drill, and get the fuck off. Yeah. So they just had to know the basics of being an astronaut. But let's not get to that wormhole too much, because we still got the latest update, and Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So Mike Tyson had a hospital visit because of his ulcer inflation. Yeah. So it got postponed.
He had a little tummy ache, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. It's more than a tummy ache, man. That was pretty fucking severe. So they were talking, like, they were just tossing around possible replacements. Logan Paul threw his name in the hat. So him being a previous boxer with Mayweather, and being a current WWE superstar, like, he threw his name in the hat. But could you imagine, like, some of the other possible contenders for Jake Paul if this Tyson fight doesn't happen? Like, Brock Lesnar. I would love to see Brock Lesnar, just because I'm like, if you're a UFC fighter, you could easily be able to box Jake Paul. That's just my thought and opinion.
I don't know. Jake Paul's like Jake Paul is a trained boxer, right?
Conor McGregor jumped in. He jumped in with Mayweather as a boxer.
So let me, because I'm not 100% on is the Jake Paul Tyson fight, is that just an exhibition fight? It's not for anything, right? Okay.
Yes, it's just an exhibition fight.
Yeah, because that's what McGregor and Mayweather's was, just an exhibition fight.
Yeah.
I think Logan Paul fighting Jake Paul might not be a bad idea. Brock Lesnar would be tough just because he's so much bigger. You know, I get it's an exhibition fight.
Do you think the Pauls really care about that?
I mean,
like, Brock Lesnar's, but the technique. So Jake Paul is more of a boxer than Brock Lesnar is. So Brock Lesnar can't do that. You know, like, he can't, like, use his, you know, his brute strength. He can only box.
Yeah, Mike, but it would be like that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer's becomes the head man in his dojo.
I don't know.
You don't need skill. You just ring him by the neck.
Well, Jake Paul, like Tyson's a lot bigger. It's still Tyson's age. He's bigger than Merriweather.
You mean Mayweather?
And, like, I feel like Jake Paul's not as big as Tyson.
No, Jake Paul, I don't think is as big as Tyson. But I bet they're closer than Jake Paul and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, well, the only difference, Lesnar would, I don't even know what Lesnar is, but anyway, bottom line, it sells tickets.
That would sell tickets.
What sells tickets. So Jake Paul knows a lot more about, and I will give Jake, even though I hate the Pauls, Jake Paul, I will give him credit, knows a lot more about boxing than I feel that Brock Lesnar does. But Brock Lesnar has, like, that, you know, you hit Brock Lesnar, you better fucking knock him out with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, you're like hitting a brick wall.
Yeah. Actually, to tell you the truth, I feel like they should do, like, celebrity fucking cage matches like UFC. Like, UFC needs to start bringing these motherfuckers in and start, you know, like, you know, like older guys, you know what I mean? Like Brock Lesnar, maybe not yet because he's still, but older UFC fighters. Maybe what's his name who played fucking Mr. T's character in fucking A-Team. You know what I'm talking about? Like the new A-Team movie with you know the new A-Team movie?
Yeah. I mean, new is relative, right? That movie came out
I forget his name, man.
14 years ago.
What was what's the other guy's name? The other UFC
Winston
fighter.
Jackson, is that him?
Yes, Rampage Jackson.
Okay.
Like Rampage Jackson coming in for Jake Paul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like guys who know how to fight, but they don't know how to box, and they're, you know what I mean? Like, so if you just put them in a boxing thing, you know, that just, it tones it down a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you're certainly giving them, more parameters. But dude, that's how the UFC started. Like the first UFC 1, 2, 3, and 4 were just was like Street Fighter in a cage. It was insane. They'd have like a sumo wrestler out there against like Royce Gracie, and Gracie's kicking their teeth out. You had that boxer that was in there with one glove. You're like, dude, easy, M. Bison. Like, come on, dude.
I think all the shit talking at Conor McGregor. I love Conor McGregor. I think he's fucking, especially after that movie he did, the Roadhouse movie. Yeah. But he's really cocky, and
very cocky.
He talked a lot of shit. Like, it's not like me being like, because I was a wrestling fan. It's just that I respect like what wrestlers have to do. Like, they got to go to every fucking town. They got to train in different fucking gyms and all this shit.
Yeah.
And for Conor McGregor to come out and talk shit, dude, that would have been awesome, because Stone Cold Steve Austin came out and ran. He was like, this mother, like, dude, he was on a podcast, and I think it was on Joe Rogan. Like, Stone Cold was just like, yo, I want to see this like, not this. He said, I want to see this asshole just come out here and fucking do what the fuck we do and do all this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's two different types of businesses. Just like how, martial art, like UFC is a different business than boxing.
Right.
Like, it's everything's different. But it's all entertainment. It's all entertainment. The only thing different between boxing and martial arts and like UFC and WWE is that, WWE is obviously scripted. Like, somebody plans who wins and who, but right. It's all freestyle in the ring.
Yeah, but, they were calling it something other than professional wrestling, right? Sports entertainment, is that what they were calling it for a minute?
Yeah,
but they're like moving back to pro wrestling
now. Yeah, now it's been sports entertainment for the longest time now, since they changed it to WWE. Yeah. But
you're still flying through the air, taking hits and flying through tables. Like, you're still putting your body on the line. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the stuff that they're doing right now. I watched something on. I watched like a clip from Monday Night Raw on X, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
like, dude, they're like, and I'm not talking like skinny guys. I'm talking like dudes who are freaks of nature, and they're doing like these crazy acrobatic moves, and like it's perfect, like it's insane.
Yeah,
this one dude. So I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but this one dude is he's the nephew of Rick Steiner, who's Scott and Rick Steiner were the dogs or something, the road dogs or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I only know his brother Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, but it's Scott Steiner's nephew, Rick Steiner's son, is now and he looks like he is going to be a hell of a superstar.
Yeah.
This dude was in a ring on Monday night. He did this thing. It's called the Frankensteiner, and that's a good name for it. So basically, he waits until his opponent is up on the turnbuckle, and then he gets up and he runs towards it, gets up on the turnbuckle, and goes, pff, pff, and he just does this this really quick fucking moonsault, and then he grabs a hold of the fucking dude's neck with his fucking legs and rips him the fuck down. Dude, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
because not only is it scripted, but like you still got to worry about injuring somebody. Like,
oh
you
yeah,
can fucking kill somebody with that.
yeah. You also got to
And it
remember
was
all the
just,
choreography. You got to remember all your rehearsals,
yes.
and you don't get like a lot of time to rehearse. I know you're either like
And then
only on
plus
Raw
you're
or
not,
only on
yeah, and
SmackDown,
plus
but
you're not
still, like,
trying to, and plus you're not trying to fuck up the move on live TV.
exactly.
You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
tough.
'Cause
Yeah.
yeah. But let's get into beef time real quick before we head out. So beef
Do it.
time, Joe. I have beef, and I have beef with, and it's so funny too because I heard this morning when somebody had like they were against this. I have beef with people who don't return their shopping carts to the fucking chutes or to the building. It doesn't matter what you do. Put them in the chutes. And then, like, I heard the argument this morning, which was random because our content that I create is in advance, and it was just out of nowhere. I heard this on a news outlet, and they were like, "Oh, well, what about the pregnant woman that's got to put her kids in a car, and then they got to take the cart back to the the chute, and then you run the risk of your kids jumping behind the fucking wheel and taking off of your car." And I'm like, yo, if that's what you're worried about, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I understand. I respect parents. I
what a
respect
wild
parents. I respect
scenario to
what you
bring
want to
up.
do. I know, but hey, man, that shit happens. That's why I say, like, I respect that shit happens, man. Kids are fucking wild, man. They'll do whatever the
Kids are
fuck they
wild,
want.
man. Better strap them bad
So,
boys in.
but you know what I do? I always park, and I'm like, every time I go, like, there's no parking, like, there's parking spots open all over where the fucking the shopping cart chutes are.
Right.
Nobody parks around them. You know why? Because everybody wants to park as close to the building as they possibly can, because they don't
Well,
feel like walking to the
I
fucking grocery store.
I will say I don't park near them because I one time went to a Walmart and I was parked right next to one, and I came out and there was a big old dent in the side of my car that looked like someone, pushed a shopping cart like it was going to, and then went a little waggly and ran right into the back of
Somebody
my
didn't
car.
return their fucking shopping cart and it fucking flew into your goddamn car.
Well, it looked like, I'm assuming someone was like trying to push it, and they, shopping cart with a wobbly wheel just came and hit my car. So I don't park near those chutes, but I do always return my shopping cart. I think that's a good litmus test for how you are as a human being, because you get no reward for doing it. You get no punishment for not doing it, but we all instinctively know it is the right thing to do. So if you return your shopping cart, you are a good person. If you do not turn your shopping cart, you are a terrible person. You heard that here first.
Aldi's has a good business model where you have to put the quarter in there to get a shopping cart, and then to get your quarter back, you got to return. And like, I don't give a shit about the fucking thing. I because that's just because of me. Like, I always return my cart, but it ensures that everybody would return their cart because they get that coin back.
Yeah, you get that quarter back.
I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm like, dude, I'll like take my fucking groceries in a car, and somebody's handing it. It's like, hey, here you go. You want my quarter? There you go. There's your cart. Take it back. Otherwise, like, oh, no, it's all right. I'm like, dude, how hard is it to push a fucking cart back?
Yeah, Aldi is like the Wild West of
it is the
grocery
Wild West,
stores.
But I love it.
They don't have, because of the quarter thing, they don't have like cart return people. You know what I mean? Like, no one's out running collecting the carts. They don't have baggers either. It's usually like this entire grocery store that's ran by like, 3 recent high school graduates that are just running around crazy. Like, dude, the checkout people at Aldi are like the fastest people on the planet. You'll see, like, they just got done, unloading, 7,000 cartons of eggs. And they're like, all right, we need someone at lane 2 to check everyone out. And they come out, it's this old woman.
Oh, yeah, they come out of fucking left field.
500 coupons, and they're just like, come on, let's move it on, old lady. Let's get it. Come on,
I feel like when that happens, it's like Charlie Sheen coming out of the fucking bullpen in fucking Major League.
Yes, exactly.
But dude, and return the carts. The only reason why I don't like it, well, one, yeah, because like if you leave them out there, they'll cruise into another fucking vehicle, and that could be my vehicle. 2 is, yep, that's exactly why. You leave it there. I'm coming in trying to find a fucking parking spot out in left field because I like to park out. I'm the guy who parks out at a distance because I don't mind walking.
You don't want your car to get hit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just like being out there. I don't want to be around other fucking people. I like to walk. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like to be up front. Fuck that. That's where all the chaos happens. So, like, when I come through, there's like fucking a shopping cart in a fucking parking spot. Like, I get so fucking pissed. And then I get even more pissed when I see cars parked around it.
Right.
And those people didn't want to fucking like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like, dude, if I were to park next to it, I would actually grab that cart and just push it right into the chute.
Yeah.
Just push it right into the chute. The other thing is, oh, dude, when it's a packed fucking parking lot, this has, like, not just at the grocery store, but any fucking parking spot, especially bars or somewhere like a bowling alley or something like that, and it's packed, and some motherfucker is double parked. Double park, especially in the city. Yeah. Double park motherfuckers, dude. You deserve to get like down at the shore. I remember when I was a kid, my dad had us all in the station wagon. This is back in the 90s, and we were down in Ocean City, Maryland, and we were my dad's trying to park, you know, the whole fucking station wagon with, you know, me, my brother, my sister, my mom. We're trying to pull in, and my dad saw this fucking dude in a truck, double parked. He was fucking irate. He gets the fuck out. He just keys this. It was that was probably the meanest key I've ever seen in my life. Dude, he fucking took it from the fucking front axle and he just stabbed it and just, there was so much fucking anger in that key.
Yeah.
Dude, that motherfucker he needed to get that fucking whole side, like, sanded down, and and he probably still would have like a fucking gouge in that fucking body. Yeah, that was hilarious. Like, looking back at it, was fucking hilarious. I would never key somebody unless they fucking did something to my vehicle. But if you're double parked, you're a fucking dickhead.
Well, you're just asking to get your car keyed for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you're actually asking for somebody with a shitty vehicle just to plow into it.
Right. That's exactly.
If I was down at the beach, and, you know, because down at the beach, man, it's like parking is scarce. So I mean, like, you're down there with a nice vehicle and you're double parked, you're definitely getting your fucking car. Your vehicle's getting fucked up.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, I come down there with a fucking, you know, I didn't come down there with a Buick fucking station wagon. You know, with that type of vehicle, with today's, dude, I could fucking just, you know, give it a right to the fucking nose, and it just fucking fucking sputter off, and dude, I'm gonna fuck that car up. My car's not even gonna be fucking done anything. It's fucking solid steel, brother.
Yeah, that's just like that Cybertruck, all steel in the front.
Yep.
All right.
Well, we are done for today. How about it, Joe? Is there anything else you want to
add? No, I think that's it for me. I think I'm good. I think we did it. We did another episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. You know, you can always reach out to us on the Facebook or email, anything like that. Why don't you send us out, Mike?
All right, brothers. Well, hey, I want to let you know we're having a good time here. This is a great. We're just taking off this fucking shit, and I just want to let you know, get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. See ya.